Hey guys, and welcome to another video which I'm going to cover on a little bit more on the Lumix GH4. And this is just a kind of follow-up video from one I did which covered the feature which is the variable frame rate, which is quite a unique, interesting feature on the GH4. It's also on the GH5 as well, I think, and presumably the GH6. If you don't know what the variable frame rate is, it records footage at different speeds and you can play it back either slow motion speed or you can play it back at very fast speed. So, and I think it ranges from 12 frames per second up to 96 frames per second. So, and that'll give you kind of slow motion footage or very fast high speed footage. So I have been experimenting with that, and I've been getting out and about, getting a few bits of footage using the variable frame rate. Yeah, and I think I got some fairly decent footage using this feature. So far, I've kind of mainly experimented just kind of with, like, say, you know, like birds in the water and streams, waterfalls, things like that. But it would be good to try and get a few different subjects other than just that in future. Yeah, so as I said in the previous video, you can actually access this menu option for variable frame rate within the camera, which has to be in the motion picture mode before you can actually do it. If you can pick up, that's the motion picture mode that it's set on there. So yeah, that's the motion picture mode that it's set to. So obviously to scroll through the menu, you have to make sure motion picture's on, as I said. The recording format, I think, has to be MOV. I presume the MOV's movie. I'm not sure exactly myself. The recording quality, I do believe, needs to be in 25p for Full HD. If you have it above that, I don't think it'll work. So if I put it on there, for example, yeah, the frame rate's grayed out. So it has to be 25p. One thing that is interesting that I did find out is that, see where it says Full HD All-I, and I think that stands for All-Intra. What that'll do, it's not only is it higher quality, because it says there it's 200 megabytes, I think, or 200 megabits in quality. Yeah, so basically that's a higher quality file, and again, 25p's, 25 frames per second. It's worth knowing with the All-Intra that it will actually keep the audio of the clip, as opposed to not keeping it. Yeah, this option will not keep the audio for that clip. There are, of course, a few drawbacks associated with the variable frame rate. As I said in the last video, the image quality will decrease with every time the FPS goes higher. So at the higher frame rates, 96 FPS for example, the quality will look at its worst, and you have to kind of reduce the frames per second and for the quality to essentially increase. So I'd read, I think, anything from the range of 62 FPS and lower you'll get decent quality. Yeah, once you go from 62 FPS downward, then the quality that you get from using the variable frame rate will actually improve. And for what I've seen, the 62 FPS setting is actually probably the best one to get the kind of all-round best results of kind of slow-mo versus quality, if that's what you're going for. Right, so I'll now show you the footage that I've taken with the Lumix GH4 and the variable frame rate footage that I've captured. Most of the footage is captured at 62 FPS setting, or in some cases I've also used the 75 FPS setting as well. So that's the two main settings I've used, 62 and 75 FPS to capture this footage. Yeah, so in thinking in terms of regarding the pros and cons of the camera, as I said, obviously the camera's got excellent image quality in terms of its video. You know, obviously it's got a whole, to use the fancy word, myriad of features to choose from and to work with.
Good word.
As for the cons, though, I think one of the major ones, which I think a lot of people will and have already picked up the GH4 on, is to do with its performance in low light. And yeah, it's because the GH4's low light performance isn't the best, it has to be said. And I know that firsthand because I've shot different bits of footage in kind of low light, and obviously the results just weren't great at all, particularly in the movie mode, because in the movie mode, yeah, because the main drawback with the movie mode is you're limited to 25th of a second in terms of your shutter time, and in the movie mode you can't go beneath 25th of a second. Yeah, so the workaround for that would be to use faster lenses, and by that obviously I mean lenses that are like got a kind of wider aperture, such as like f1.8. And a good lens that would come to mind would be the Lumix 25mm f1.7, which is a prime lens, and it's a great little lens. I've bought it before. In fact, I might buy it again. Hopefully it'll compensate for the lack of low light performance, because obviously, yeah, it is a bit of an issue. There's actually two specific video profiles which I've not mentioned before in the previous video, and that's for which the first one's, as you see, is Cinelike D, and the second one's Cinelike V. Now, from what I understand, I saw a video online, one guy suggesting settings for capturing footage in low light, which would hopefully help improve things a little bit. Yeah, these are kind of like baseline settings, which I thought kind of closely based on what he recommended, so that's like potentially an option for getting better video in low light. I haven't actually tried that setting, but it might be worth considering. Right, so that's it for now, guys. Thanks for watching this one, and yeah, I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope it hasn't been too boring for you. And if you managed to make it to the end of the video, well done. Please feel free also to subscribe to the channel, because there's plenty more content and videos on there for you all to have a look at as well. So that's it for now, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.